Hi, it's Puzzle Run again. Welcome back. Today we have got a few Ravensburger puzzles on the table. These aren't the type of the puzzles I usually do. They have large pieces, and since bigger pieces are rarely used in competitions, I naturally tend to pick puzzles with smaller pieces. But over time I have collected a few of these large piece puzzles, and today it's finally time to complete them. I'll start with the oldest one of the bunch. It's called Colorful Italy, a classic image of beautiful landscape. I think this one might be a little smaller than others, but we will compare them later. Let's get started. As I was flipping the pieces, I quickly noticed this puzzle takes up much more space on the table. And probably that's one of the reasons large piece puzzles aren't common in competitions. Anyway, this one had a very clear distinctive sections: the sky, the sea, the flowers, and the buildings. And if you know me by now, you already know I'm starting with the sky and working my way down. I was a bit surprised at how well I started. I was just flying through the sky and water sections. Of course, those were fairly easy since they had nice gradient colors. After just 20 minutes, those areas were done. But then I had to move on the bigger and trickier sections. Eventually it was finished. With such a good start, I was hoping for really fast time, but the yellow flowers slowed me down a lot, and the buildings didn't exactly help either. Still, I think I got a little more comfortable working with the large pieces, which should help with the next puzzles. The next puzzle is called Wilderness. This one is more recent puzzle compared to the first one. It's beautiful illustration, but I can't say that it will be an easy one. Everything looks quite similar in terms of the color, and I'm hoping the bigger pieces will make it easier to navigate. Let's see. Before starting, I didn't really have a plan. But while flipping the pieces, I noticed the sky stood out, so I figured it would be a good place to begin. In general, with the larger piece puzzles, it's a good idea to start at the top. That way, you don't have to reach across the whole puzzle later on. After working for a while, I realized it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was actually pretty easy to separate different areas in the puzzle. I did avoid working on the animals for as long as I could. They looked quite similar, and honestly, I'm not great with animal fur textures too. And done! In the end, I did struggle a bit with the animals and the darker sections, but it was worth it because the finished puzzle looks amazing. I also noticed a few differences between this and the previous puzzle. First, the size. This one is bigger. Naturally, the pieces are slightly larger too. You can see the differences here. Another thing I liked is how well the new puzzle pieces lock together. You can even lift the completed puzzle without a problem. Next up is Northern Lights. Another beautiful illustration. I think this one might be a little easier than the others. Let's find out. I feel like I'm getting more used to these large pieces now. Flipping the pieces goes faster, and overall I'm more comfortable managing a large puzzle. This one has a lot of distinctive sections, some big, some small, and after flipping the pieces it was clear that they really stand out from each other. So let's see how fast I can get this done. just over an hour, and of course, one missing piece. But overall, I'm really happy with the time, especially after 2 slower puzzles. And I have to say, this one is absolutely stunning. And yes, here's my missing piece. It was on my lap the whole time. Alright, this is the final puzzle of this session. It's called Scenic Overlook. The image looks like a painting, and I'm curious to see how challenging it will be. Only one way to find out: to get started. I know, it's probably getting boring hearing me repeat my strategy. But yes, you guessed it. Starting with the sky again. This time, half of the sky came together pretty quickly, though the second half took a bit longer. I was little worried that some of the sections might look too similar to each other, but actually they were distinctive enough to keep a steady pace. And there it is, the final piece. As well, good time. I think this one went quite well. There were a few moments where I slowed down, but overall I'm happy with the results and with how beautiful this puzzle turned out. To sum up my experience with these large piece Ravensburger puzzles, I have few things to say. First, it took me a little while to get used to the bigger pieces and larger size of the puzzles itself. You definitely need a bit more table space. Second, I felt like the larger pieces made it easier to spot specific details or colors for certain sections. Since everything is a bit bigger, it stands out more. And finally, the images I chose were absolutely stunning. Maybe I just got lucky picking these, but I really enjoy completing them. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and as always, see you next time. Bye!